Why would I do a CD called Confessions of a Muslim Comedian? And that was the idea of bringing entertainment to Muslims, for Muslims, about Muslims, but for everybody. I got Dean in my life. Who is Dean? What you doing around here? You know how Muslims get you all hyped up? Like, brother, you ready to be Muslim? I said, yeah. He said, you know what that means? I said, tell me, brother. He said, you ready to give up the swine? I said, yes, sir. I'm giving up the swine. He said, are you ready to give up the alcohol? I said, yes, sir. I'm ready to give up the alcohol. He said, you ready to give up the women? I said, yes, sir. I'm ready to give up the alcohol. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everybody. I'm Preacher Moss, host of the SOS Shout Out Show. For those of you who are the regular show, Shout Out Show fans, family, soldiers, I just wanted to run the new opening patch. I hope you guys like it. It's my first time actually putting on the show. I've been excited about it. Like I said, we're making some changes headed into 2021, and that is one of them. I believe that the Shout Out Show family and soldiers deserve a new opening. You're classy people. I need to give you a classy opening. So as we begin to upgrade the show, by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, hopefully we can upgrade the experiences as well. Got some people in the queue already. Alhamdulillah. We have, of course, we have our consultant producer, Sister Sultana Whitfield, who will be presenting this Saturday, brothers. This is on the Saturday shot, on the Saturday spotlight. She has her guest. She's going to be sending that over to me. I'm looking forward to actually seeing in that show and sitting in the back and enjoying watching her be successful. And I hope all of you will join in on Saturday to watch her be successful, because that's a big part of what we do. Sister Ree, how you doing? Sis, you coming back? What, tomorrow? Do you need a ride from the airport? Let me know. I got you hooked up. You and Derek and Juwan got you guys hooked up, so don't go get anything to eat. It's on me when you come back. And I'm glad you like the opening. I might even run it at the end, get a little bit more opinions. Brother Altaf, coming all the way from Toronto, man, how do you do it, brother? I mean, how do you do it? This is probably the easiest you ever got to. You don't have to show your passport, have to fill out any paperwork. We appreciate you coming as always. Sister Ika, all the way in, checking in from Indonesia, coming out of that early morning Fajr. I don't know if you prayed or not, or if you have. Either way, we appreciate it, man. We really appreciate it. So my topic today is a really not a simple topic. I was discussing this with somebody, and we were talking about how, in some regards, our behavior, our attitudes create mental work for other people. Our behavior, attitudes create mental work for other people. And one of the categories and demographics we talked about was really about our kids. Our children. So the show today, the more better theme right now is, particularly on a Monday, is check on the kids. You know, there's a lot of things going on with elections, a lot of things going on with politics, a lot of things going on with health. There are a lot of things going on with finances and jobs and things like that in world politics. But there's nothing that is more important than the geopolitics and the relationship that you have with your children. And what I've found, and I can be guilty of, is sometimes we wear the stress on our faces. Like we wear the stress of the world on our faces. Like we watch way too much television. Television doesn't give inspiration. Television gives titillation. Television is designed for you to watch more TV. And as you watch more TV and as you take in more knowledge, more information, and there's an argument also between knowledge and information. And I'm not going to have that on that show. I have somebody who's going to talk about it, hopefully. But it's interesting because we have become a large base of consumption. We're consumers, but our consumption is so high. And one of the reasons I feel like our consumption is so high because there's a space that goes, well, if you're not going to tell the truth, what are you going to do? If you're not going to say the truth, why should I listen to you? But then you have a generation of people, I would say over the last 3-4 years, a generation of people who have developed this nomenclature whereby they don't listen. Like for me, if I had to be a child, and anybody can jump in here, if I had to be a child right now, growing up, and I want to say since the beginning of the Obama years, let's say when Obama took office up till now, so we're saying essentially 12 years old, I would be confused as a child. Because in one aspect of leadership, you did have that idea that there's some type of accountability for what you do and what you say. And then you turn over, after 8 years, you turn over to a situation where people don't value the truth. Now, in schools, education, if you will, there's always a thing, and this comes, and you already know this. There's a vast disconnect with schools in terms of how schools are funded, schools that get the talented teachers, schools that get the resources. And it's interesting because that's society right now, how we get our education, how our children get educated. I love this guy. He's actually from Toronto, Malcolm Gladwell. Talk about education in this way. He said, imagine that there's a school where the kids are super motivated to learn, right? They're super motivated to learn. The teachers are fighting to be able to teach at this school. The parents are doing everything they can to get their children into school. The waiting list to get into school is a mile long, and the school has the top resources, the top teachers, they're internationally known, they get all the funding they want and request, they're model school. You have that school, and then what's left? And in that space, it's like, well, why shouldn't all the schools be framed like that? Why shouldn't all our institutions of education be framed like that? One of the things and I spoke to this yesterday, I was doing my project. One of the things that hit me yesterday was the fact that, for this curriculum I was doing, I started having flashbacks when I was a teacher. And I want to say, yes, parents, be careful how you wear your emotions on your sleeve when you're dealing with your kids. But here's a secret. Teachers are human too. And what's happening is teachers are weighing their emotions on their faces. In these Zoom rooms, these chat rooms, even when they go to school, there's still this irrepressible thought that I could get sick. I could go home and infect my own family. But I need this work. I need this money. And some people I love the kids. The kids are counting on me, which is a beautiful thought. So let me welcome Sister Rabina. Thank you so much, Sister Rabina. Oh, wait, we got to make two for my daughter. Make dua for my daughter today. School exam, dua's up. Remember, dua's up. Kids win, we all win. But there's a thing that they're not talking about in the news, which is the burnout of the teachers. Most teachers are family people. So they have a school family, and then they have their own family. And what's happened is this whole thing of being at home has not allowed for the disconnect. It doesn't allow for kids to sit back and breathe. It doesn't allow for the teachers to rejuvenate and refresh themselves. And as a result, there is a burnout going on. There was a report that recently came out that a high number of kids are getting failing grades as opposed to being in this prolonged aspect of distance learning or virtual learning and all that type of stuff. And what they didn't say was they didn't give a breakdown of the numbers. Now, I know, and I don't want to say it, but I know that in the inner city, underprivileged kids, minority kids, black and brown kids are not getting the best of instruction. And I can tell you why they're not getting the best instruction. They don't have the best resources. A lot of them do not have the strong Wi-Fi that's required. They don't have the strong computers that's required. And also, this whole thing has restructured what the family unit looks like in crisis. Children who've been used to mommy going to work, daddy going to work, mommy and daddy going to work, grandma going to work, or grandma being home. You know, they've watched people have to assume roles that they really weren't thinking they were going to have to do. It's something accustomed to like your grandmother who's worked hard, retired, all the kids are gone on to do things, they have their own family. Then a child comes back and brings their family. And that grandparent now has to readjust what they thought their life was going to be after they retired or after their kids left. They readjust that the empty nest is not empty anymore. And when I say check on the kids, I just don't mean the little kids. I need to clarify that. I don't mean the little kids. I mean kids in general, children, yes, one's in school. But check this out. I think we need to be checking on our own little inner child. That little kid inside of us who wants to say, I want to believe in the system, I want to believe in the world. And now that child doubts. The little one has doubts, brothers and sisters. And I'm saying, you know what, for all of us, I just went through the thing where I lost my big brother. I'm not ashamed to say that. It hurt. I'm not ashamed to say that when the news came down, it really, really hit me. I cried like a newborn, because family means a lot. Family means a lot. And this COVID situation was tough because you just couldn't be there. Just because of the regulations and the protocols for social distancing and health requirements. So you couldn't be there. I couldn't be there for my brother. But the thing that maybe pulled me through was the fact that I could connect on that little part, that little kid that said, you know what? In that situation, we had a great time. We had an awesome time. And I'm going to ask everybody, if you have children or not, dig down deep and make sure you check on the little kid inside of you. You check on the kid down the street too, and the child in your house, but check on the little kid inside of you, because you know what? That little goofy kid that's not so tied into the misfortune and dysfunction of the world is what your kids really tie into. The silly moments, the goofy moments, the things you laugh at with your child you're not supposed to laugh at, those are solid gold. And you don't want to lose that, brothers and sisters. You don't want it to be a situation whereby you can't tap into that. And I saw that. This election cycle, yesterday's talk was, can we heal yet? And for a lot of people, they can't heal. They can't heal yet. They might not heal for a while. You know what? Because that little kid inside of them is gone. That little something that said, despite what the world is, I still like when somebody slips on ice. I like when somebody walks into a door. I like silliness, foolishness. You know what? The things that allow us, brothers and sisters, to just hold on for a little bit. When you think about it, with your friends, your long-term friends, what do you guys reflect on? You reflect on what? Childhood memories. And you expand childhood memories up to when you got married. They're all childhood memories. If it happened in the past, we're going to categorize them somehow as childhood memories because they bring about a certain amount of giddiness, if you will. And I'm saying, people, embrace or find and embrace the giddiness. Check on the kids. Check on your kids, your inner child. The one that said, you know what? I'm going to believe just a bit because the world needs you to believe in something. Now, let me get back to the kids in the classroom. They need our help. A lot of kids, and let me say this and be very, very sparing with my words. A lot of kids don't know what's going on now. We're teaching them civics, we're teaching them religion, we're teaching them law, the government, and they can turn on the television and realize that it's not tangible. That the laws and the government and all that stuff they talk about, that it is highly conceptual. It's a great idea, but right now it's about being executed. And sadly, there are some situations, scenarios where children at a very young age have something inside of them that's broken. Oh, there you go. Sister Rabina said the little kid inside of me is too wild and he won't ever leave. Yeah. You got to indulge that inner child, brothers and sisters. Because that's what kids see. Yeah, man. Yeah, like I showed a video on what was that? Was it Saturday or Friday? Friday Funnies. Michael Jr. And he talked about how people talk to babies. How goofy you go. Oh, look at the baby. Why do we do that? Children, cute little children, make us act like what? Little children. When a child comes to you and says they have a boo-boo, you don't sit there and run through a whole medical evaluation, do you? Where's the boo-boo? Sometimes that simplicity, sometimes that directness of a child, that a child goes, this is the only language I know. You must pay attention to me, is a reminder. It's a reminder of all the other languages sometimes that we forget. Language of compassion, the language of mercy, language of gratitude. You know, and some people just forget. You know, I recently had to tape pre-tape a comedy performance for an upcoming event. They didn't want me to do it live. They wanted me to do it, and I guess they're going to press play, whatever. And I sent it to them, and the person who was running it said, oh, I really enjoyed it. And I got a text from the sister. God bless her. He goes, well, we saw it, and it was, you seemed tired after this joke, and, it was more conversational than it was funny, and we're used to this and that and that. And I was like, what, do you want me to do it over? She goes, yeah, what'd you do it over? I'm like, lady, I'm a comedian. Honey, we get paid for the attempt, dear sister. We don't get paid whether you like it. We get paid for the attempt. But something inside of me made me laugh because it was so goofy. I was like, I'm not going to argue the politics of it. I'm actually going to consider going back and doing it. Well, you just want some goofy, I'll give you some goofy stuff. But maybe that's what you need. Maybe that's the thing that's going to make you feel just a little bit better. Maybe the political jokes, people laugh at them. But I understand something about political jokes. Political jokes don't make kids laugh. Things that make kids laugh are the things that make them feel good, but it also is things that they feel is accessible. To be able to tell a joke that a parent likes, a grandparent likes, and a child likes, it's just the greatest feeling in the world. To see a child repeat the joke and annoy the parent and the grandparent is a baraka. That's a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And yet, here we sit, and I can think about some of the shows that we've had some heavy shows, particularly for me being a comedian. We had some heavy shows, but there were topics that needed to be discussed. And I want to thank everyone here on the show, anyone who's ever watched the show, for allowing me to express those things. Because I think sometimes people think, oh, you're a comedian, you're funny all the time. You're funny. Well, I'm not a clown, I'm a comedian. I have feelings, I have thoughts. And it's great for me to come here and just get some things off the shoulder, get some things off my mind that allow me in the proper place and time to tell the jokes and make you guys laugh, make the kids laugh. And sometimes, it's not a rare thing, but I don't value it as much as I could because I'm not doing as much. Sisters, family jokes make children laugh. Yeah, yeah. I mean, family functions used to make us laugh as a kid. My Aunt Maxine, God bless her, she could drink a whole bottle of gallon wine, like a whole big thing. And we used to have, sorry, I'm talking about drinking references, but it was funny. And we watch her drink this thing of gallon wine, and she would fall asleep. And she would have a glass of wine, and the water would tip all the way to the lip, and she would just hold it for like 4 or 5 hours. And we kids were just in awe of how she never spilled that last little bit of wine. And then she would wake up, fully attentive, and drink it and go about her business. That was funny. Now, some of you are going, well, your aunt's alcoholic. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying was, as a kid, these things were funny. They amused us. And we're in a world that's so constricted right now. Like, if I laugh, you have to approve of it. Or if you laugh, your group has to approve of it. And it's like there's just no freeness in some regards for us to be able to truly enjoy ourselves. And that's the thing that I worry about with our kids, that they don't have that freeness. They don't have the opportunity to be spontaneous, if you will, to be a little goofy, to be a little, all of us went to school and we had, the concept of a class clown. Everybody here knows that the idea of a class clown was not that the class clown was a clown. He just needed to be seen, or she just needed to be seen. And as a teacher, we always accounted for the class clown. And sometimes we leaned on the class clown to talk to the kids, a way that we couldn't talk to the kids, to keep the room loose, to keep the kids relaxed. There was a kid named Fontaine Shepard that I had in my first year of teaching. He's a funny guy, Fontaine Shepard. And Fontaine would make jokes from the time he got to school to the time he left. He would joan on a teacher. I'll never forget it. Brothers and sisters, I'm not proud of it, but my first year teaching, I was broke as the Ten Commandments. And I had to get some shirts. And I ran into this brother, Latino brother, and he was selling shirts out of the back of a car. He's like, "You need shirts?" I said, "Yeah." I don't know how it worked out. But this brother had a van full of shirts. And the problem was, he had my size, but the shirts were all one color. They were all white. They were like the whitest shirts in the world, brothers and sisters. And he was like, "You want a shirt?" I was like, "Yeah." And I was like, and I was greedy. I was like, "How many shirts?" He was like, $3 a shirt. I'm like, "Dude, give me 10. And I got the shirts, and they were white. I'm like, if they were any whiter, they could stop a war. They were like truce shirts. You know what I'm saying? Somebody called a truce. And I walked in with my little tie and my little kufi, and I heard from the back, "Damn, they done gave us a freedom rider for a teacher." Now, immediately, I'm like, I'm going to have to correct him. And then I thought about it. And I closed my eyes and I said, probably from his vantage point, I do look like a freedom rider. But here's what I really appreciated. Not that he called me that, but somehow, some way, someone had introduced him to the idea that there were things called freedom riders. Nobody actually likes getting called a freedom rider, but I mean, it made sense. And I appreciated it. And I leaned on Fontaine throughout my first year of teaching, which was extremely difficult to keep the class loose at times. Because sometimes his frivolity, if you will, his cutting jokes, his ribs and his Jones, as we used to call them, they were just enough to keep the class relaxed. We moved away from anxiety. And as time would go on, I would give him time to tell jokes. And we would tell jokes. We would go at one another. You're not supposed to talk about kids, but I talk about kids. I don't care. But my point is, Fontaine Shepherd, wherever you are, I don't know if you are still in Milwaukee or wherever you are, I just want to say thank you. Because Fontaine Shepherd reminded me, brothers and sisters, that there was a little child inside of myself, even as a teacher. And as I grew to appreciate the little child, I brought him to school just like all the other kids came to school. And we engaged and we interacted. And, it was a beautiful thing. And I just want to make the case here that I hope all of you, my brothers and sisters, remember that little child. Because the little child inside of you has a lot to do with the little child that's looking at you. I don't mean as a parent, that's one grade a child. That's your child. But kids around the world, kids in your neighborhood, and they talk. Kids talk. It's not like, psychotherapy, but kids talk. And the anxiety is out there. I feel it and it's palpable. But what I ask is that even though that it's out there and it's palpable, it doesn't mean that it's hopeless. Think about this, and I'll let you go. Let's construct a child that's happy, that's well-educated, that's spiritually grounded, that's protected, that's inspired, and then you have everything else. Just like the school. We want to have the best for our kids. We want to have the best for our children. I don't say my child, I say our children. Because we're all, creations of God. And I believe that if we can mold a few things, if we can change a few things. Oh, Sister Rabina, Fontaine Shepherd sounds like a 1940 movie star. Yeah, he thought he was a star, Sister Rabina. I don't know how he's doing. I maybe I'll get on and do a search sometime. I haven't researched my students in quite a while. Jeremy Clark and Freddie Lewis and folks like that. But I'm gonna check it out. But I want to end this on a thing. Really, really clear, really, really short. Embrace that child. Check on the kids in your house, the kids in your neighborhood, the kid inside of you. The kids in the house, the kids in the neighborhood, the kids inside of you. And in closing, don't be afraid to pull out your Fontaine Shepherd. That's it for me today, brothers and sisters. God bless you and have an amazing day. Thank you for tuning in on More Better Mondays. I like to say we have more better days coming. At the top of the week, if I can have a good top of the week, inshallah, we're going to have an amazing week. Don't forget, Sister Sultana, I need to find out who that guest is. You're killing us. We want to know who the guest is, sister. So make sure you bring it on. Other than that, everybody, please engage the things that make you happy. Espouse the things that you believe in. And you know what? Hug that little kid inside of you. I'm out. God bless. Take care of yourselves. And I will see you sooner than later, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Hey everybody, this is your brother Preacher Moss. Listen, I hope that you enjoyed your Shout Out Show experience. We'll be back with the next Shout Out Show. A simple ask before you go, please help your brother out. Click that subscribe button, click that notify button, and I'll see you again on this side of the microphone. You probably wonder what that smell is. That's me. I smell good. And the reason I smell good is because I use oils from Tarifa Tar. So I'm not saying you can't smell good. I'm not even saying you stink. I'm saying you have the opportunity to smell exquisite. Check out tarifatar.com for some of the best oils and scents in town.